Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of Naked Sunday. I'm your host, Caleb Nelson, and I have my friend coming back to hang out with me again after some technical malfunctions in post recording. I got my friend Chris here today. Thanks, brother, for hanging out with me again.
Of course, I look forward to it.
Yeah,
We had so much fun the first time we had to do it again.
like we were saying beforehand, first world problems. Shucks, gotta hang out with somebody that I enjoy talking with. Really a big deal. That's and that leads right into you already knew this what I was gonna say about how I like to start the show and why I appreciate my guests, but this is part of like fully embodied the optimist, seeing the silver lining, the whatever, let's roll with it. I really value that about you, man. Like and it's again, I've heard your story after you shared so much last time. I'm excited to share it again, but hear it literally in real time. That's what's beautiful about it. When things don't go perfectly, you actually get to see how people do they really follow through on what they say they believe and how they really choose to, espouse their values. So thank you, my friend, for coming back and being yourself once again.
Of course, I'm happy to be here, man. Excited to talk.
Let's do it. Let's hop right in. Share with the audience, my friend, who are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the simple answer, which I always love, is just I'm a man that goes to bed better than how he woke up. Because that's really my motto is how do we become our best self? And obviously, when we step into our best, then we have another best. So really, I'm a person that likes to take on these big things, these crazy things. I love being unique, so that's how we chose the running thing that we'll get into later. And man, I just love helping people. I love serving people, and I love helping men develop their purpose and go after it and realize they don't have to leave their family behind. They don't have to risk everything. They don't have to like put it all on the line and jump like so many people in personal development and motivation tell you like you just got to do, you got to do. I think there is a proven protocol to build out that so you can see it work in front of your eyes, and that makes it easier to step forward in faith.
I like where you just started that today because that's a little different angle than we talked about last time. Let's
Yes,
get
yeah.
into that
Okay.
because that happens to be one of my biggest pet peeves in the whole guru, personal development, whatever world you want. Like, burn the ships, we're going ashore. And I definitely used to buy into that and paid the price several times. Take us through some of that. Take us
Yeah.
through some of that. That was a cool thing to bring right to the forefront off the rip.
Yeah, man. So I'm with you, Caleb. I'm the person that was like, burn the boats, right? Like you would ask me 5 years ago, I would have said the same thing. I just have realized that it is risky, right? You are putting something on the line. And that doesn't mean you have to just throw it all at once. The truth of the matter is when you learn how to develop a business, you actually don't want to step away from the job you have right now. What you want to learn is how to use micro times and micro opportunities to build out something. And that's the reason it's all about consistency. That's the reason it's all about, I like to call it the 1 mile march. And if we talk about it, we can at some point, but it comes from even when they went to the South Pole for the first time and these two different teams that were going. And so Team A was going to go down and Team B was going to go down at the same exact time. They were both headed there. They were right trying to make history. So they're both trying to get to the South Pole first. Both well funded, but way two different techniques. So one guy goes, or one team goes down, Team B, and they're going to go, if it's sunny, they're going to go 60 miles. If it's blizzard, snowy, they're going to hunker down. And then there's Team A. I'm sorry, there's Team B, which Team B goes, we're going to go 20 miles a day, 20-mile march, no matter what. Blizzard, 20 miles. Sunny, 20 miles. We could go 60, 20. And that's what most people do is we think we got to jump. And so to make the long story short, Team B, the 20-mile march team, gets to the South Pole. They don't know where the other team is. They assume like they're either behind them or in front of them, but they have a lot of reserves of food because of how they did the 20-mile march. So they leave the food there just in case if the other team is behind them so they can have food to survive. So Team B makes it back. They're celebrated. Everybody wonders where Team A is, the 60-mile march, and they all die. And what I'm saying to us is we don't have to have that death in our life. We don't have to have that slow death because when we realize it's just a 20-mile march, it's not the thing that the gurus are selling you of in 90 days, you just got to work 27 hours a day and you'll be the millionaire in 90 days. Right? That I just made a video about this. It's one of my biggest pet peeves about coaching. 90-day guarantee. And then they give you one case study of how this guy got involved 90 days. He went from zero to making $100,000 a month. But you also don't get to hear the backstory where he's built 10 businesses, he's made multi-millions of dollars. He hired a whole team, right? Like they don't tell you that side. And to me, it's the same thing as telling people to jump. Business is not we look at business and we go like, oh, it's just creating this material product or owning a storefront. But business is a mindset. Business is the development of who you are and who you become. That's the reason I love business. That's the reason I coach men in business. Not because I love that they're going to grow their business. I love because it's the thing that makes you grow the most, right? Getting married, having children, and a business. I think those are the three things that I've had in my life. And then we'll get to the writing side. So that's the fourth thing that have allowed me to expand and grow the most and see the most deeper connection to God, see the deeper connection to my family. And so to me, I want to bring it back to these people that are like, man, it is risky. It is. Business is hard. It's not meant to be easy, but it's also meant to have like people around you and understand timelines and not put these pressures of 90 days or you got to jump because it stops a lot of people from actually serving a bigger purpose that they want to serve because they think they have to jump or they see that one big guy that jumped in it and it worked and he's talking to you about 10 years of suffering and then I made millions and business is hard enough. You don't have to add more to it. I think we
Mm.
have to subtract things from our life and then look for those micro times to build something.
I am just constant. When I'm clipping this, I probably didn't see me in this because it wasn't about me, but I'm just nodding my head the whole time, like, yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
seen that, been that, done that. And I want to just stay here for a second because that burn the boats, burn the ships, whatever, that construct is around, it's like, that's a wartime strategy.
It's
And
also not a true story. Do you know that? Like
no,
that's a made up story.
do tell, go
Okay,
keep going.
I mean, I don't know a ton of details. I love that story, right? Like in the past, I was like, oh, I love this. Burn the boats, do it, right? And then the whole story of how they went in and conquered the area because it was either death or conquer. So they conquered. But that story is actually fabricated. That is not the true story at all. And I'll be honest, I don't know the full story. I just have been like researched it a little bit and heard people that are researching it. They're like, that story, it's a great story. Don't get me wrong. The principle's great, if you believe in that, but it's not real. And I don't think a story has to be real in order to be great, but certainly it puts an impression on people that it is real. That's the way. And whenever somebody promotes like there's one way, I think you got to run, right? Because my way may be my way, but it's not the way. It's my one way that worked for me. Now, if you love what I love, maybe it'll work for you. So let's implement it, right? Let's implement it. See, that's again the reason not to just jump. It's the reason to proven protocol, right? Build it out. Slowly build it out with incremental steps so you can see. Then you can decide. But most people want you to decide and then see. And I get like the point of faith is that you can't see it, so you got to create it. But that's my point is like prove it. Have faith. Because faith isn't built by jumping. Faith is built like these incremental steps of action. That's what builds our faith. If you do one big thing one time, it's not going to build your faith. But if you do these small incremental things over time, it'll constantly feed that faith belief and that'll constantly grow. Just like going to the gym, you don't get strong from going to the gym one time. You don't get great at running from running one time. You get great from the consistent action. And anybody that's building a business is not I'm gonna build in 90 days and I'm just gonna sit back, drink some Coronas on a beach, and just enjoy myself. I know that's a picture that people paint, but the truth is business is a thing you will be working at until until you get it to where you want it to grow. But really, it is a thing that is constantly evolving and growing. It's not a thing you just set and it's not a timer you set and you leave. And I think that's a thing that most of us get sold, especially in the beginning. Like we're hyped up. We got this dream. We're excited. We're into, oh yeah, I just want to do it all day, every day. And then you get started and you realize like, yeah, I do want to do it a lot of the day. I enjoy it more than I did my jobs. But yet I also want to realize that there's a lot more to it and there's a lot more to life than just business.
Dude, the fire that's coming out of you right now is awesome. Like
Appreciate it.
I was like, maybe we're gonna run through some of the same stuff as we did
Yeah,
last time, just like completely different. I'm loving this,
appreciate it.
mainly because just just to give the mirror of where I hear it from, just paraphrasing some of those things, is that especially in coaching, you and I have similar kind of approaches with everything in that many of my clients end up wanting to have a coaching business. They were not wanting the other thing they're doing.
Yeah,
The problem is that number one, many people have never coached anybody. They have done it a little bit, but then they just kill off their income all of a sudden. And they don't understand that coaching a business, leading a coaching business when you are operating from just watching your bank account just go down, whatever little savings you had or something like that, is not the right way to run your business because you're going to operate from scarcity at all times. And when you are doing that, you are often going to make decisions as the leader in that coaching relationship that are not actually in the best interest of your client, which
absolutely.
is unethical as you've already accepted their money
Yeah,
to shepherd them on a journey. But it's actually all about your control. And when you get scared, you try to control them, as you
yep.
talked about before, that if there's only one way, run. That's what happens. People switch into that scarcity based mindset. They start to control and they can feel the fear. The clients can feel it. And people think they can't. Oh boy, they can. And you'll see it in your bottom line maybe a month or two, 3 months down the line. You'll be like, why didn't everybody renew? Why aren't they still
Mm,
going? Why aren't they getting the results that I said that like why are they not just doing the work?
yeah.
And it's because functionally you internally didn't set up the system to handle that as the
Mm,
leader. So what you're saying is so important because people don't think about those two things, how to first maybe make space in your lifestyle to then also allow for some coaching, allow for building that out, allow for keeping your value high so you can continue to buy back more time and makes more space for the next thing. So I love everything you're saying about that and that it's not built overnight, as you're alluding to with the fitness. That's a great analogy there. You didn't eat one salad and have a six pack.
right. Even though some girl is slapping this 20-year-old is slapping her tummy on social media saying, I can get you a fat belly. All you got to do is be 20 and be naturally lean, and you'll get her abs right away. Don't even worry about it. So, yes, I'm with you.
Well, not to mention, like that somebody at that age in their life, chances are they have not carried the weight and responsibility of a business, paying
Yep.
all the bills. And I'm saying chances are maybe they have, and those are the unicorns. But chances are they don't have kids. They don't have all the other like. How do you make those bigger decisions? And you see a lot of like the marketing bros and whatnot. They just be like, yeah, just do the thing, man. Not to mention, and I'm be curious to see what you've seen on this. The people who somehow do hit the lottery can't maintain the results that they have. They actually go off and blow their life up because of other constructs that we can get into the psychology of that. So it's just as dangerous for people to be successful in that light as it is for people to just go all in without having a steady shift and a plan to slowly adapt to that new lifestyle, that new identity, essentially, or a new responsibility as a business owner. So I'd love your take on any of that stuff right there.
Yeah, so first I want to jump back to where you said, this is where we start with most of our clients is what can we, you said like you have to take stuff off the plate. And you do. Like if you're going to start a business, you're going to start something new, you can expand your plate, but that takes time. So if you want to get started quickly, you got to take a few things off your plate. And you got to realize like what really matters in your daily action and what really is just these things that you do that take your time and distract you from life. And so I think that's something to get clear on. And then when we're talking about, getting started or what that looks like, I mean, to me, I love what you said about, and I'm gonna use Jim Rohn because I think he said it best, right? He said like our fear shouldn't be that like we can't grow the business. Our fear should be that we grow the business and we get successful quickly because that's the most detrimental thing. Those people you see, they're like rockets and they shoot off quick and they get success and they start selling you something and then but their morals and their standards and really their values aren't ready for that. Because when you get real successful, a lot more responsibility comes, a lot more pressure comes. Money doesn't just mean you get to buy cool stuff. Money comes with more responsibilities and more pressure. And if you aren't building yourself to be that person, and that's really what a lot of our coaching program is, right? We get them started, we take them and we give them tools and teach them how to, right, build out the business, build out the offer, get the clients. Yet the truth of the matter is we teach them how to think and how to be and how to stay out of the scarcity and the fear and when they get there, how to get out of there as quickly as possible because it's alignment of ourselves and with God that really make the difference. Yet so many people want that quick and then they give up. And I'll say, like, almost thank God they give up because if they got the money quick, it could be very destructive to them, to their family, to people around them. And we don't realize that. We don't see the value in the slow growth as much as we see this like exponential. But when you're actually in the slow growth, you see the value in it. And that's the truth is we have to like one of my favorite sayings is slow down to the speed of wisdom, right? So most of us we want to speed up. We want to get things done quicker. But wisdom doesn't come from speed. Wisdom comes from slow, methodical movements. And if you look at God even, God is slow to act. Hence people praying for stuff, going like, God's not giving it to me quick enough. I need it quick, right? So God's slow to act because he wants you to have the best life. So he's going to drip it to you. And so to me, it's really about understanding that slow down to the speed of wisdom. Don't try to go too quick. If if the Navy SEALs say slow is smooth and smooth is fast, then we surely could take that and implement that in our life. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. They don't say chaotic movement is great. They say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Because when you see chaotic movement, you feel it. And when you see, and it's almost like the people you brought up where somebody's coaching somebody, and when they're very chaotic and they're trying to rush things, or they're trying to get you to, or trying to control the situation, you feel that at your core.
I Dude, you're just awesome.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I love it because I love hearing other people be like, oh, I get it. Anybody who's ever guided anybody along a health and wellness journey that pivots into business then understands like, oh, it's the same. And what you were talking about there, I think the slowest smooth, smoothest fast. We have a really poor concept of time and what real speed is. We like, oh, you didn't have the business of your dreams in 90 days? You didn't have the body of your dreams in 90 days? Well, what people don't think about, as we talked about before, you can get that maybe.
Sure.
Let's use I've
Yeah.
was having the gym before, did a
Well,
plenty
you
of
will you
weight.
will wave the magic wand and you get it, right? Like you
You
get it
get
in
it.
90 days. Okay, go from there.
You, you don't know how to keep it.
Yep.
That's it. You don't know how to keep it, and that's the real problem that most people have not confronted. What does it mean to be in that new body, in that new business, in that new responsibility with all the other things that are going around? Because other people don't think about is the rest of your lifestyle will have to adapt.
Yep.
It's going to deeply impact your relationships. You are going to confront things with people that you did not think you were going to confront. If it's losing weight, people are going to look at you differently. People are going to judge you for the food choices you make. People are going to tell you you should not be so strict. They're going to tell you you're being unhealthy, even if you're building your business. What the things you will say no to, the things that you will avoid, the new boundaries you will set, the confrontation you're going to have with people about money,
Mhm.
about people just wanting freebies, about people not valuing your time, your energy, your service.
Yeah.
People you would think and most would assume, oh, they would want to help. You're going to confront a lot of those things. And especially if you're in a coaching space, you're going to go, oh, you also see why those people don't make progress. So you're going to now have to adapt all the relationships as well. You're going to have to adjust your time to accommodate whatever new success. And if you've never done it, those voices are really loud. And if you haven't dealt with the guilt and the shame and the pressures and all the reasons why you got to the place you were beforehand, well, you're going to come, that's the only place you knew how to be. You knew how to be back there. So you're going to eventually drift back because all those
Yep.
environmental, social influences are going to just push you right back into that because you
Hmm.
didn't build the foundation around that to support that. So, yeah, what you're saying, man, is just so spot on. I
Thanks.
saw somebody talking trash the other day, and they're like, why are there so many people in fitness getting into business coaching now? And my first thought was like, well, that's scarcity based thinking. Because, like, do you feel threatened? And the second thought was, well, it's such a natural inclination to move there because it's just behavior change.
That's
Making more money and doing the things you want to do with a purpose driven business is a much easier sell than, hey, you want to lose weight and then keep it off and keep doing that thing forever. Like
yeah.
it's two very different sales. And
Yeah.
um, that was just something that I'm like, oh, well, somebody who understands keeping somebody on the wagon, shall we say, on their health and wellness weight loss journey is the hardest sale you'll ever make because you're always making the sale every single day to somebody.
Hmm.
Come make better food choices, come do hard things, move your body, do whatever. Do things that are not easy with the reward of like you're gonna feel good and you're gonna have better energy, but you're gonna have to keep doing that forever and you're gonna look not as cool as you're not gonna be as fun to your friends.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a hard sale on the surface that most people are thinking about like
for sure.
subconsciously. So pivot to something else and all of a sudden like, well, that sounds much more interesting and people want to pay more for that. That seems odd. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, like I should pivot to that. But somebody who comes from a fitness background, I think also brings the ethical understanding of how to change behavior
Mm,
where it's not push a couple buttons and then the magical things happen on the internet like marketing dollars, which you can. You can do things quickly, but they don't understand the other stuff around the behavior change that comes with that.
absolutely.
Just ranting now. Now I
No,
didn't
no,
know
but
where the end of my thought was there.
I think it's good though, and I like to say it a different way. Like you, when you get success quick, you don't go through the seasons.
Mm.
And you have to, right? Like the reason my program is lifetime access is because I know some of these men are gonna fade away. Like meaning like they're gonna build a business and it's gonna look good for a while, but then they're gonna need to come back. Some men will stay in it for a lifetime because they want that support. And they my point is like you're gonna go through seasons. And when you get it quick, you don't go through enough seasons to have the test to prove to yourself that you can stay on track through all seasons. And that's the longevity that people, or the longevity thing that people miss, especially when they're getting started. They don't understand. They think, get the business going, get money coming in, serve some clients, done. And it's not even close to that. The ups and downs from just sometimes 1 hour or a day of, yay, I'm doing it. And then it feels like I'm dying, right? Right? Like all those things happen. And when you look at the military, and this is the reason I make this my business a lifetime or the coaching a lifetime, is because when you look at the military, men will go out and they'll serve. And they interview them when they come back home. They go like, "Why do you go back for more than one like tour? Like, why do you go back multiple times?" And most people go like, "Oh, because they want to serve the country. Oh, because they care about that." And the truth is, they care about their brothers in arms. And when we are united in brothers in arms, we won't give up on the brother. We may give up on ourselves. And it's just for business, same thing for business. When you build a brotherhood, you understand that like you are not here to give up on you. You can do that today, but you won't give up on John or Tom or Ricky or Matt, right? Because those people are now united. They're party and they won't let you give up. And we need that because the truth is when you build the person you want to be, you have to go through the seasons. And that means you may go through a summer, but it surely means you're going to get to winter. And you need those brothers during the winter. And that's the reason it's so important to have a longer timeline or runway. Because in my past, I would go to my wife like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We got 6 months, 6 months financial timeline. And we do it. And then we get there and we're like, oh my goodness. And here's what I've learned. I'm so bad at predicting timelines. That's what I've really realized. I'm so horrible about predicting the future. It's crazy. So to me, when I have the people around me and I understand that there will be seasons, now it makes me active to stay active and to be connected to people that help me stay active in my pursuit of my purpose. And so, timeline, seasons, things like that are important things to start to understand. And you just don't understand it when you're getting started. You have this quick hope of 90 days, I'll be done. And it doesn't it doesn't work that way.
Well, especially if people are just chasing the money, that there's a lot of ways to make money. And I think there's a massive myth of passive income. There's no such real thing as that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, you will have to monitor it in some way, shape, or form. There will be work, and the people who give you the perception of that also have incredible systems in place, uh, and they've built that over time.
Yeah. And
And
teams of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not just they're not sitting over there doing all the work, but there's if you listen to these people and you get close in their details, you still listen to like, I'm working 20, 30 hours a week. And you're like, great, maybe that's way better. And your income's way higher for 20 hours than it was for 40 when you're working a job. But they don't tell you, and that's again back to the 90-day thing, right? Where we brought it up in the beginning. It's just these things that people omit to make it sound flashy and fun and cool. Like you said, passive income. The only people I know that passive income don't have any income. So realize it's all going to be part of the work.
yeah, especially when I think about this, and I put everything through the lens of most people. Like probably similar to you, probably have plenty of people who want to become coaches or whatnot. I tend to attract a lot of coaches
Yeah.
or have the desire for that. They want to take all their genius and like give back or become a mentor, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
The notion of like rushing to not work seems odd to me, especially if this is like, well, you are defining this as the impact you want to leave and the purpose in your life. You're just rushing to not be doing that. That seems odd.
Yep.
Now, there is something to be said, like how can you integrate a life so you can how can you lead from integrity for a long period of time? How do you organize your life so that time is, respected and you have the appropriate energy for those things? You don't necessarily work 100 hours a week. Probably if you've been doing that for somebody else, you want to do it more for yourself, but still, like, at a certain leg in your life, you don't have to go crazy.
Hmm.
But again, if you're like, well, all of a sudden I don't want to be connected, I want to do no work and I want to talk to nobody, I just want to make the money. That's also seems fairly inaltruistic. Yeah, that's the motives I think are so different, and I that kind of flashy get in, get out quick kind of thing. It attracts somebody who's already living in a deep amount of scarcity, and that person,
Absolutely.
ironically, is going to probably run headfirst into a wall and be even more disappointed on the back end if they're like, oh, I sunk, you know, 15, 20 grand, whatever people are spending on whatever programs that are out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't line up. Where I've been thinking all this stuff, and it's in me knowing some of your story. How has confronting your past and your life and forgiveness, because that was some of the most powerful stuff that I took out of our first attempt at recording this. How has that impacted you in how you confronted it along your journey as you built a business?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my best to give as good answer as I did last time. Hopefully, it'll, be a 5 out of 10. So,
12 out of 10. I believe in you, bro. I believe
oh,
in you.
thanks, thanks. Like I I can give some details real quick. Like I had drugs and alcohol use for 17 years. I was sexually molested, had some physical abuse when I was a kid, and those things don't set you up necessarily to have a great mindset about life, about people around you. and it kept me stuck for years. I mean, like that's the reason I stayed in drugs and alcohol. And when I finally got sober, it was like the decision was easy. Either in this life or get sober and figure it out. So luckily I chose get sober and figure it out. But that is a really treacherous thing to do. It's a tough challenge. So when I look back at my past, man, people like and when I coach people and other people like, how do I say like I'm grateful for being molested. And they're like absolutely confronted. I mean, I've literally had people yell at me about how messed up that is, how disgusting that is, and I should never like say that you should be great because I say it to them like that's your freedom. You don't realize it, but your freedom is like how do you get grateful? And it starts with understanding going like I accepted this happened, right? And then I go like what value can I extract out of it? Who can I help? What value does it give me? How has it made me who I am? Which a piece of me that I love today? Because if I don't love that piece, I hate a piece of me. And everybody is into this like love yourself. You got to fully love yourself before you can ever date or do anything. And you can't even move until you love yourself. We're kind of in that generation, I feel like right now. And the truth of the matter is, people still haven't forgiven somebody. They haven't forgiven themselves. And they were like, man, if I just fight it and if I just keep working on it really hard, I'll eventually get it. And there's work to be done. But I think the work is more of how do you start to go like, okay, I accept that this happened. Okay. Where is my responsibility in it? Where can I be like what things can I take from it and how do I become grateful from it? And when you become grateful from it, it transmutes the energy from this negative darkness to this thing where you go like, oh, it's now my light. It's a piece of me. And I'm grateful for that piece of me. And I don't have to hide it. I don't have to shun it. I don't have to be afraid of it. I don't have to run from it. What I have to do is go like put my arm over it, label it. Hey, Tom, good to see you again. Glad you're here. Thank you for showing up to give me something. Thank you for showing me getting up, like showing up to show me what the past looked like. So I know I don't want to go there again, but I do know where I want to go. Tom, let's walk there together. And most people are trying to cut off their arm and then tell me like, hey, I'm more Chris, I just got to cut off my arm, bro. If I just cut off my arm, like I'll fully love myself. I'm going to just get rid of that thing and I'll be more whole. And never once have we gotten rid of something to be more whole. So we got to stop trying to suppress and push ourselves down to make ourselves stand up taller. We have to learn how to accept, forgive, and find peace in that. Because I truly believe this. Like everything happens to you for a reason, right? God created us for a reason, on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. And everything we go through is a little like piece of the puzzle of your world that's meant to like fill in that gap. It's not meant to be removed because if you ever remove a piece from a puzzle, you just go, you're just searching the whole house for the puzzle piece. But when you put it in and you recognize that it completes the whole puzzle, now you go like, oh my goodness, man, the thing I've been fighting was me. It wasn't the person that molested me. Like they don't know. I got molested when I was 6 years old. I'm 41 now. So 35 years, you think they're still coming, like thinking about Chris like 35 years ago? And if they are, then they have their own healing to do. But to me, like that's a piece of me. I'm not trying to fight me. I'm trying to figure out how I synchronize myself to work and as effectively and execute my life as best as possible. And I don't know if that's exactly what I shared last time, but those are the pieces that I really love to look at and go like, how do we learn to look at our past and go like, man, I'm grateful for this. Even if it's nothing else, like I survived it. I made it through it. Like, look how much stronger I am. I'm an overcomer. I can do these hard things because I went through that hard thing and I'm still here. So I know there's something more for me. And I know that thing didn't happen to destroy me because there's one person that made me, so it can't break me. And that's one thing I stand behind. Like, God made me. So there's one person that can break me. And the rest of these external things that happen to me, they're not meant to break me. They're meant to shape me and refine me for me to find the best me in me.
There's a saying I have for myself. It's freedom is on the other side of forgiveness. And when you
Mm,
brought that up, it was like ding, ding, ding right
yeah.
there. One of my favorite quotes on top of that is as we're talking about the cutting off the arm thing. one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King is darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can.
Mhm.
And I talk about this often that the world is our mirror, whether it's our us looking into our past and seeing it in our present, what have you. If that is a mirror of us and we hate that, that the inclination is to try to destroy. That's what hate is. I want to separate, cut the arm off, as you said before, but to love, to forgive, which is an act of love,
Yeah.
makes it whole and it gives it, and you have been able to find the purpose within that. And I thought that was really quite brilliant. And what you said before as well about people just want to like go off and like cut themselves off from the world. Healing happens in relationship to that. We don't see it in the moment sometimes, but that person across from us is showing us that, especially if they're aggravating us, it's triggering something that's deep down in our past or whatever. It's just coming back up to the surface. And just because you cut it out for a while doesn't mean it went away.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to reveal itself. And what I thought was really powerful in that as well, your strength and what you're capable of. If you're able, people who could just forgive and don't carry that baggage with them and carry just the lessons, that's a very strong person who, especially if you're shepherding somebody through a very difficult thing, such as building a business or the runs that are going to talk about or any of that stuff, you're holding space for a lot of somebody's life. And I'm sure you've seen it. Like people bring a lot of darkness. And you like, oh, we're just working on building a business. Here's all the other stuff. Like, here's what's the drama in my house with my spouse. Here's what's going on with my health. Here's the family, this and that and the other. Oh, by the way, here's all everything in my past. And all of a sudden, it's like all the stuff. And you go, oh, cool. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And what I have found, and perhaps you've seen the same thing, and what I'm really admiring in you is that kind of calm strength because it doesn't rattle you is a signal to me that you're capable of holding space for somebody when they're going through that rough moment because the moment is coming when they are going to have to confront their demons because it is going to be in relationship to something, whether it's being seen, being vulnerable, being open. It's going to be associated with something in their childhood, whatever it is. And business has a powerful way of knocking on those doors and saying, like, are we going to go say hello to them today? Or are we going to come out and like make peace with this? Or are
Yeah.
we going to just tuck it back there for a while and just like wait for another cycle to come around? Um, Now, it's really just sharing my appreciation, my admiration for you for that type of perspective because it's not easy. I'm sure that there was a lot of a lot of praying, a lot of soul searching to come to some of that understanding
Hmm.
along the way. Um, I don't have a follow-up thought to that. It's just really just a fan, basically.
I appreciate it. And I think, like I like to say these two things just because I think it really helps put it in perspective. First, I always like to think of it as like layers of an onion. Like you go do work on this, and then you peel back a layer of the onion, and then you realize like, oh, there's more work to be done here. So I'm not, by any means, I am not the person like I am healed and everything's healed and it's perfect. That is not even close to being true. I have all kinds of struggles, and if you want me to bring my wife in here, she could tell you all about them and everything else. So the truth is, right? It's a peeling back. So it's not like I have to get to this point to do something. It's a peeling back of those layers. And I think that's so important to remember because Wayne Dyer, I'm going to paraphrase it, but Wayne Dyer said, and he's passed away now, but he said that the pressure doesn't like make you, it reveals you. And man, I've been revealed because of these things that I've done from business to having two kids with the run stuff we'll get to. That's a lot of pressure. And it reveals like the light, but it also reveals the dark. The difference is, like you said, you like suppressing or pushing down the dark just keeps it dark. And now I'm just like, I don't feel because I know where my value comes from, and that for me, that's God. right? In my past, if I looked at the dark or the molestation or whatever, I would think that took value from me. So I didn't want to expose that to anybody because it revealed who I really was. But then moving forward, as I progressed and grown through this, I realized like me admitting these things don't take value from me. I'm already 100% valuable. No matter what I do or don't do, God's got me with the value. But what I do, like what matters is understanding that if I accept it and I understand it and I realize like it doesn't have to destroy me. It can just be part of me and still add value. And it doesn't have to, like the molestation thing doesn't have to be darkness. It can be light. And so I really love when I understand the layers of the onion and then where your value comes from, that the thing that most people are trying to hide that they think devalues them or makes them look worse to people, it really doesn't. What it does is it makes you feel human to people. And when I tell you about the things that have happened or the thing that just happened yesterday, and I tell you it, and if you judge me, that's okay. That's because you're coming from a place of hurt. And so you think it devalues you, so you want to devalue me for it. That's okay. That's your thing, not my thing. But my thing is when people tell me like the honest truth and they cut through the onion, I go like, man, now we can connect. My wife and I don't connect when I go like, babe, I'm perfect and everything's going great and it's amazing and we have no struggles and everything's great. You know, like when we were dating, like I was just vulnerable. I would tell her all about my past. It was confronting at that time because I was like, oh man, I hope she accepts that. I really am digging this girl. I hope we can continue. But I also knew like if I told her and she rejected me, I'd still feel good. I'll still feel good about myself. It wasn't going to take value from me. But that's only because I knew where my value came from and I knew the darkness was no longer the darkness. It was actually the light and the connection. And that's what we need more of in this world is more of that understanding of each other's quote unquote darkness, because that is actually what connects us and allows it to be no longer a you thing or a me thing, and it's a we thing. And that connects us. And we need more of that in this world.
You're awesome, bro.
Thanks.
You're awesome.
Thanks. It's been a journey, bro.
It
You could have met
clearly.
me a few years ago. You probably wouldn't have said that, you know? I appreciate it.
Ah, no, I love it. Let's speaking of journeys, let's pivot to the running.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
let's hit that.
Yeah. You want to ask anything or you want me to start shooting
Just
off the
roll with the
mouth?
story,
Cool.
man. Like, it's a cool
Okay.
story. Just roll with the running thing. It's cool.
Yeah, so we started running 4 years ago and we've ran every day for over 1,500 days straight now. And I tell you that because I want to tell you the beginning. Because people go like, oh, that's crazy. Let me tell you the origin story. 5 times in 20 years I ran because I hated it so much. Then I met this beautiful lady and she's like, hey, I'm running these things called marathons. You want to run? And I was like, how far is that? She said 26.2 miles. And I said, and you got to pay for that? And she said, yep. And I said, never will I do that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What if they got you too? You're a fool. Well, you're a fool with them. So I was not a good teammate or support at that point. Fast forward, she's still running marathons. We get married. And about a month out of her, it was going to be her last marathon. And so her friends call her up and they're like, hey, we haven't trained enough. We're not going to be able to run it with you. We're going to postpone. So she comes to me and she's like, hey, I don't think I'm going to run this. And I said, no, if this is your last one, I want you to run it. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you is I'm going to run it with you. And she's like, you will? I was like, absolutely. The only stipulation, no training. I just want to buy new shoes and walk in them for a month so I can break those shoes in. She's like, that sounds about right for you. And so we started the run journey, and that was in 20, I think 18. Absolutely amazing experience. Like everything halfway through broke down, cramping everywhere, just incredible pain, also incredible experience. And when I got about point 0.2 left, so 20, I was 26 miles of the 26.2. I just remember recording myself bawling and just remembering like, man, what we've gone through today, I have to figure out how to duplicate. And what we went through today, I could die today and I die proud of myself. I die knowing that at that moment I gave it my all.
Hmm.
And for most men, that's what we want to do. We don't want to burn the boats. But what we want to do is go do something that extracts everything out of us because that is what we're really here for. We're here for the hero's journey. And if you're listening to this, this is part of my hero's journey. So fast forward, we do like 60,000 push-up pull-up challenge like the next year. Then we do a 50 miler that during COVID. So, nobody's running any races. So my wife just tracks me on this course or on this, trail that we have close to our house. Luckily, it's about that length, so I can do it there and back. And she just tracks me. She's a great support. But then it builds to January of 2022. I wake up and I'm like, man, we got to do something bigger. January 8th, I wake up and go, we got to do something bigger. January 9th, I started a mile a day every day for 90 days. And now we have transformed this, and I just want to give everybody perspective. This was not the original plan when we started that because I'd never run more than 4 days in a row. So I was like, let me see if I can run a week straight, but let me start really small because I'm not good at I can't do something big consistently, but I can start something small and grow it to something big that I could do consistently. And so we started with a mile a day. And as this journey went on a year, we're watching this guy run across America, the same trail that most people do. And it's about 3,300 miles. And on January, when we were creating this idea ourselves, we're like, okay, cool, let's look that up. Okay, like 250 people done that. Okay, well, that's not unique enough. 3,300 miles, that's not far enough, and that's not unique enough. No, no ego involved in here. So we do that, and we're training, and a couple years go by, and we're looking at like how do we make it unique, how do we make it different, do we do like a V from the upper west coast down to Texas, upper east coast. My wife comes in, I come in from running one day and I think I'm about 10 miles a day at this point. She goes, why don't we run the perimeter of America? I'm like, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And so she's looking it up and she's like, has anybody done this amount of distance on this amount of days? And we finally looked it up and there'd been nobody that had done it. And we went ding, ding, ding. This is for us. We've always wanted to travel around or America in an RV and go stay in different states for different seasons, see what we really like, see where we want to lay our head at the end of this, period of our life. And so we go like, yep, that's it. We decide on a 50K, which is 31.1 miles, and we're like, should we do? This is an important thing. That's the reason I bring it up. Like we go like, I'm sitting there going like, we should do 50 miles a day. And my wife's like, Chris, 50K, 31.1 mile is an ultra marathon. You want to do an ultra marathon a day for every day of the calendar year, right? And I'm like, yeah, because that'll be against Book of World Records. Nobody will. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And she's like, 50K, this is where you need people around you. Just so keep this in mind because this is really healthy and good for you to have good people around you to tone down some things sometimes. And so she's like, let's do the 50K because that just develops the lifestyle we want. Because I'm not leaving my kids and my wife behind. We're going one man, one family, one RV around the perimeter of America. And that's what we want to show. We want to show, man, the lifestyle, man, what men and what people can do, even if you have kids. Like they're the reason to do these things, not the reason to not do them. Because most of us as parents, we say like to our kids, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. And then we're not that example. And we want to be that example. And so really what we're looking at is we're in the perimeter. January 2027, we'll start January 1st and we'll end January 31st, back in the same place we started. 365 days, 50K later. That's our vision. That's our dream. That's where we're headed.
I love this, man, and I'm gonna make my reflection on that very brief because I hear my daughter banging around out there, and I know I got to relieve my brother-in-law in a second. He's watching her, and they're having a romp. What I really admire about just the way you've set it all up, you've talked about how to organize the lifestyle, you've talked about how to set an example and be a role model, like especially kids, and I'm watching it with my kid. They pay attention more to what you do than more than what you say. And you get surprised what they've been paying attention to over a while. Like, oh boy, like that was what you're looking at. But I think there's also some really powerful analogs to business in endurance, a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a long thing. You're going to go through a lot of bumps and bruises. You're going to be probably lots of moments where like questioning why are you doing this? And when you stretch out that timeline, when you have to think about that, how you're going to approach that, it's who's coming with you,
Yeah.
how are we going to organize our life, why are we doing it in the first place aside from just doing it, and making sure like you're all prepared for it and living in alignment with that. And I thought that was really cool. I think it's just awesome. I mean, it's not something I'm going to do in my life, but I am like, as I've said this whole thing, I'm a fan, man. And I think it's really cool that you're doing your version of like, this is my thing and I'm going to pursue it. And it's because it's an embodiment of all these things.
Yeah,
And it's very intentional. I think that above all else, like that's really what sticks out to me is the intentionality of how you're organizing and orchestrating this endeavor because it's not there's a lot of thought that's gone into it and you're not just snapping your fingers, you're thinking about how it's going to impact a lot of people now and forever. um so it's really cool. So
thanks. Thanks.
dude, everybody should be following along with that. Let's quickly pivot to our fun questions again so that I can prevent whatever banging around out there turns into complete chaos. Question number one, you already know it. What sports or creative activities did you play when you were younger, and how did you play?
Yeah. So, like I started with karate and soccer and quit those quickly. And then I went to basketball and football. I love them. I think they're a great team sport. I think, man, it's just a good challenge. And I think I'll say it like this. I played them to my fullest, right? That's the thing about me is that's part of my core of who I am is I give it my all. And my mom always says like, you're just so extreme. And like that's not her, right? So we have this like butting of heads, and I love that I'm so extreme. And I'll say like the butting of heads always reinforce that I'm extreme, and she's not, and that's okay. But I love being extreme, and that's how I played. I played sports. That's hence the run in my life.
I love it because you had said last time passion, and you
Yeah,
have clearly lived your life with passion. And I think
yeah,
that's really powerful. Like you're definitely going to extract all the juice out of this one. So
yeah. And I just want to say, I think passion and extreme go to for me. They go together, right? They're almost interchangeable. And if you like the word, it's with passion. It's passion, intention, and just love for the thing you're doing.
I love it. Question number two. You're stranded on a desert island. You're bringing one show and one movie. What's coming with you and why?
Yep. So last time I said Ted Lasso, sticking with that. I love Ted Lasso. I
Let's
mean, just
go. Staying strong.
fun, so many great lessons. It's just if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's beautiful. In so many layers and so many layers, and then watch it again, and then watch it again because you'll realize like, wow, there's so many layers that I missed the first two times that I'm now seeing from character development and things that were happening beforehand that you find out in the third season. You're like, oh wow, that was actually in the first season. Anyways, and then Ted Lasso, just his quotes and things that he shares with people. It's life changing. And I really say that the show can be life changing if you take it to your heart. And then It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is about a man that has the greatest opportunity to see his life without him in it, see how life would have worked out for everybody around him. Because it's easy for us to go like, man, maybe life would have been better had I not been here. Or man, life is just so hard. I don't want to be here. But when you see that, and then you see the end, and you realize like he wasn't rich, but when he gets the end and all these people come back to support him, you see the impact that not money makes, but who you are makes. And every time I get to the end, I cry because I go like, man, at the end of the day, that's where I want to be. That's how most of us that are good men out there, that's what we want to be. Is we want to be that thing where everybody comes around and goes like, man, you did it, man. You did the right thing. And you did the thing not because of fear of money or controlling people. You did it because you knew it was the best for those people. It's a
I think
wonderful
I like
life.
your answer even better this time. It was really fire. Let's go. I'm on board, man. Like, and for everybody who's listening, like the media we engage with, especially the way you just said it, was like it shows us what we are drawn to in this life. And everything you've shared in this conversation is embodied in how you look at both of those pieces of media right there. And
Thanks.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, they're great questions.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
thought long and hard about them. They were not
I
just light, fun questions. I had to really be like, it has to mean something deeper. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind.
yeah.
Final question. You already know what's coming down the pipeline. What's your deathbed meal? Who you're sharing with and why?
Yeah, so my wife was listening to the podcast last time. She's like, "Is that really your deathbed meal?" And I was like, I was like, there's so many good things you could eat. I don't know. I love it. But my wife makes this wonderful meal called zuppa toscana, and she makes these rolls. And if you've ever been to Red Lobster, there's these rolls, and they're probably about 1,000 calories. I feel like when you eat them, but they're cheese. There's these cheese biscuits, And man, that meal is just like there's in the zuppa toscana, there's spicy sausage. It's just fire, man. And then those with the the buns, it is the biscuits are just game changer. So I would say that. Yep, that's I'm sticking with that answer. She'll love it though that I stuck with that answer because she's the one that introduced me to it and she makes it, you know?
It's a well-rounded thing. It's a family meal and it's
Yeah.
shared with the family on your deathbed. And I mean,
Yep.
like, how does it get any better than that? And for those who have not listened to the podcast before, I asked that question because first and foremost, I believe world peace is going to be solved one family dinner at a time
Mm,
because that's the place where we learn how to have discourse and we confront our past, present, and our future. Um, it's learn how we learn how to have discourse properly or improperly, some way, some or shape or form. But more important, just as importantly, on our deathbed, if we have the opportunity to choose who we're there with, I have this belief that we are all each other's mirror. Looking into each other's eyes, they are showing us the path to our best version of ourselves. And if we can choose who's going to be in that final place, there it's a great reminder of where we should be looking and giving our attention all along. And if it's our family, like never forget that that should always be first and foremost, because those are going to be the ones that you hope are there, not out of obligation, but because they actually want to be there with you on those final days. And they're going to show you something really powerful. And as I'd mentioned to you last time, those overarching connection, those overarching questions is a kind of an ode to how I felt love and connection with my father when I was younger, because we'd do a
yeah.
boys' night every 4 to 6 weeks. And it was grab a movie, go talk about sports at Sports Authority, and get a bite to eat. And
Oh,
that's
I
a way
love
of
that.
bringing that love from my past into the present and sending it forward into the future. So thanks for those great responses, man. You like last time was awesome. This is even better, I think. It's just
Thanks,
like
Caleb.
bag, just like all the juice is just right here. If somebody's like, yo, I love this guy, Chris, I need more of him in my life, what's the best way for somebody to connect with you?
Yeah, so you can go to chrisrunsamerica.com if you want to, get a newsletter or if you want to connect with me there. Also just on social media. On Instagram, it's Chris Avery Coaching, Chris Runs America. You can find me either place there, Facebook, Chris Avery. Those are the best places to find me.
And as promised, always on every time I say this, I am lazy. And if you're lazy like me, just go to the show notes and click the link there because that'll probably be the fastest way to get there. You can get connected with Chris. I highly recommend you guys do that. Uh, my friend, leave us with some final words of wisdom for us to part with today.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Wherever you're at, like that's where you're meant to be. So don't think you're behind in the timeline. Don't think you gotta hit a 90-day goal. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Realize that it's one step in faith. So that means that all you got to do is get up every day and take one step in faith. And when you do that, like just realize there's something bigger for you. There's something more for you out there. And if you feel it inside, then you know it's real. So don't give up. Keep going. You're worth it. It's worth it. You can do it.
The mic drops just didn't end today. It was beautiful. I am so fired up. I'm ready to go run through a brick wall. I won't burn the ships though, so it's
Yeah,
all good. Friends who are listening, go connect with Chris. You'll be happy you did. I've been so grateful to welcome you in as a new friend in my life, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Everybody go click the show notes, do that. Thank you, everybody, sharing your time, your energy with us today. And until next time, I remind you to love everybody.